Greetings everyone, it is me, Gigalem, and welcome back to Crash Bandicoot Warped. We've completed the game, got every platinum relic, and now I'm here to show off some bonuses. We're going to be talking about all the bonus content before we get to the prototypes of this game, as currently I've yet to play through the prototypes and consider getting some good footage for them. We're going to be talking about the extras after you're done with the game, as well as probably some localization differences with the Japanese version of the game. So, yeah. Be aware that I'm probably not going to show off every difference, but they're very minimal. So, yeah. Now, the secret warp room, I don't know how people get it to have the extra buttons show up on it, have the level 31 and 32 buttons show up on it and such, but I can never figure out how I'm supposed to do that myself. What I can do is show off something that's in the first and fifth levels of the game, and I've been failing to show this off because by the time I'm done with this game, I'm putting it down for a while. So, I'm going to use this video to get my proper thoughts on the project, as well as give my thanks here too. I will say this, I still enjoy Crash Bandicoot Warped when I'm playing it proper. And I do think that the relics can indeed be fun if it sounds like your kind of ball game. But it can indeed be frustrating getting those platinum relics. Here's what happens to these crates if you should let them slide through the slots a little too much. Now there's still a crate that you can't break, and it counts as a box that you need to break. But it will take us a little bit to get to the secret I want to show, and sheesh! Well, at least you get to see what that death looks like. There are a lot of deaths that I probably wasn't able to show. I should at least talk about another Japanese difference from Crash Bandicoot 2 that I wasn't able to show. In Crash 2, Aku Aku was actually voiced when giving hints. This would make it the first time Aku Aku actually had a voice in a Crash game, predating this game in America. Well, that's a no-brainer. This is Crash 3, 2 becomes before 3. Now this time, I have to make sure I can avoid this. But it will take some time for me to get there. I will say that if you want full enjoyment of this game without the frustration, just go for Sapphires first. Because at the very least, well, it's the easiest relics to go for. And only go for Gold or higher if you really want to prove yourself. But we have a special guest here, and he's a little bit hard to see. This is Fake Crash. Now, initially, people thought that the story with Fake Crash is because it was based on a bootleg design. However, instead, he was actually based on a campaign for Crash Bandicoot 2 about seeing if people can spot the real Crash. As such, Crash can't exactly do the Crash Dash, and does this little, well, Crash Dance rather, does this little bastardized version of the Crash Dance. And apparently Naughty Dog liked the character enough to actually include him in the games. And as such, he even gets his own character in Crash Team Racing, and in the Japanese version of Crash Bash, over there called Crash Bandicoot Carnival, they have an exclusive character. You're looking at him. Huh. I wonder if you can shoot him. Don't take that out of context! But yeah, there's actually another place where you can find him. And I'm trying to see if I can actually aim the Wumpa Bazooka at him. And as you can see, Crash is kinda doing some weird things with the Fruit Bazooka, depending on where you're aiming him. Look at him go! Anywho, let's go to the other level that has Fake Crash. So, on to making waves. This will also take a while to get here. Like with Toad Village, Fake Crash in Making Waves is also quite a bit far into the level itself. And, I'm here to show you where he is. This is a secret that the game doesn't even tell you about. It's kind of something you need to discover on yourself. I'm not sure if any guides make a mention of Fake Crash. I'm sorry if I'm not breaking these boxes. But, I'm sure there are guides that do make mention of him. But he really doesn't serve anything but to just be a hidden bonus. But I think we're arriving on him just now. There in the distance, dancing on a lone island. How the heck did he get to the past is beyond me, but here he is in greater detail. If I can actually see him. Here you go. This is Fake Crash in all his glory, as a hidden Easter egg. Since I'm not going to get to Insane Trilogy for a good long while, it's very far down the retrospective. I still have a bunch of games to go through over time. Fake Crash also appears in the first 2 Crash games in the Insane Trilogy, should you end up 100%ing both of them, as far as I'm aware. He will show up in specific levels, even dancing through space. But yeah, you can see him just dancing around, buck teeth, unibrow kinda, and yeah. So what we're looking at is 2 characters that were introduced through the Japanese localization of Crash Bandicoot, right next to each other. So let's talk about another thing. So we're going to go back to the Warp Room. I'm probably going to make brief mention of the Japanese content post commentary wise. And I'll probably insert it sometime before ending the project prior. I will say, don't expect the prototype episodes for a good bit. I still have to play them. But for this next secret, we're going to have... For this next quote-unquote secret, we're going to have to quit. We're going to have to go to the menu for these next 2 things. And the first thing is something I actually use to basically practice this game. We have to wait to... we have to wait to see the game's demos and such. Basically, the demos is also a bit of a screensaver. Screen burn-in can be a bit of a pain. So they kind of play these demos to entice players and such. Demos are also used to advertise the game in stores. Well, there are also these, VHS tapes that also are specifically made to advertise a game in stores. But basically, you're going to want to wait to the 3rd demo. The first demo you're seeing is the level we were playing. We were playing through Toad Village. This demo is basically showing off the new abilities Crash can get in this game. And we've already seen these abilities in great detail. But you saw the enhanced belly flop, the death tornado spin, everything. And I'm going to try to keep talking about this and such. I will say that I totally understand why people would prefer Crash Bandicoot 2 over 3 if they want the pure platforming of Crash. I totally see that. I've played through Crash Bandicoot 2 2 years ago, and or almost 3 years ago at this point. And I've come around to that game so much because, well, let's just say a certain 4th entry just soured my taste, and I'm thankful that it wasn't, that 2 did not get as bad as 4. But I'm not gonna complain about Crash 4. I've already done that in an early part. I'm pretty sure people are going to be annoyed with me because of it. So let's continue on. on that. I totally understand if you weren't wowed by the various gimmick levels and such. Like, you'll get used to them if you do end up going through the various time trials and such. But there are just going to be some that are just going to be, like, grating on your nerves, both from playing, both from, like, controlling it, and, well, just trying to actually get those lines straight. You can see that Crash is now under pressure, and this is basically to show off the new things about this level. I'm gonna say this right now: if you did not like the gimmick levels of Crash Bandicoot Warped, you're probably not going to like Crash the Wrath of Cortex. I haven't gotten to play that game yet. It's stuck in storage because by the time I was able to play it, well, guess what? My PlayStation 2s don't work. But I do plan to change that this coming year. I do have to get through the next Crash games and such. But for this next one, I'm going to want to have to hold triangle as it gets to the next demo. There's a reason for this. There's a reason why I have to hold triangle for this one. I think you can do this with the other demos, or maybe you can't do it with the other demos, but I want to hold triangle for this one because if I can hold triangle, I can bring up the HUD and the pause screen. This is a 0% save file with all the power-ups. It's meant to be a bit of a debug save file that basically demonstrates the game. And because of that, well, Aku Aku will scold you for not getting the crystal. And, well, you will spawn right here, like right here in the warp room, with all the abilities from the start of the game. This is how I was able to practice the game. This basically made it so that I can get the platinum relics as early as the first stage. I didn't need to only prioritize levels like Under Pressure or Making Waves or even Orient Express. But yeah, I could play through this game with the Crash Dash from the start. I can get everything from the get-go because of this. So yeah, if I wanted to, I could just play through the game like this, and I have played through the game like this. You may have noticed that practice save file right next to the Let's Play save file. That's what I did this Let's Play on, for practice and such. It took me an entire year to practice every single platinum relic because I was busy with other projects, amongst other things. Because I had to practice every single one of the levels because of how much energy it takes and how much time it takes to perfect these levels and such. So, yeah. We're going through Toad Village again, sure, but I have the Crash Dash from the get-go. I can Death Tornado Spin from the get-go, and it can be very easy to get complacent and haphazard with it because you have a lot of power, just no crystals or gems. Consider this a new game plus, if you will. Play through the game without any abilities and such, and you can basically make this worth your while. And I might as well just show off what happens as you get to the boss and get to the boss with these abilities and such. So yeah, The reason why Crash Bandicoot Warped, what I considered my favorite for a while, because it was the first Crash platformer I've played. I only assumed because it was the only Crash platformer I had access to. I've never played Crash 2 or 1, one prior to emulation and such. And now, I have the entire PlayStation trilogy. I have both the spin-offs for the PlayStation. I have Wrath of Cortex. I got the box for it first, and then the disc. I also have both the GBA platformers. I've acquired Crash Nitro Kart and such. And my latest Crash used game acquirement was Crash of the Titans Loose on the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, and I've yet to test that game too. Like, I can play it through my Wii U, but yeah. I'm only missing Mind Over Mutant, Crash the Titans for the Nintendo DS. I have a special reason for that. And Nitro Kart GBA. There's also Crash of the okay, I already mentioned Titans. Crash Boom Bang, Crash Twinsanity. Crash Purple, Spyro Orange, which are going to be Let's Look At's. Gonna say that right now. And basically, Skylar's Imaginators, as it's the only game with Thumpin' Wumpa Islands. Because look, if Clement's gonna cover Sonic Dimensions through Lego Dimensions, I'm gonna have to cover Thumpin' Wumpa Islands and such, which means that's gonna be quite the crystal to collect when I have to talk about Skylanders, because I never really followed Skylanders, and there was a good reason why. It had an audience that it was appealing to, and I was not that audience. And boy, did it cover store shelves everywhere for the longest time. So, don't expect me to be an expert on that and such. But yeah. I can confirm that the next game in the Crash retrospective to cover after this will be Crash Team Racing. I can't wait to get to that game, as it introduced me to Crash. It introduced me to kart racers along with Mario Kart 64. Though nowadays, I can't really go back to 64 easily. It's dated. Nostalgic, sure, and such, but it's dated. Ugh. It's really dated. But on top of that, there's just a lot of information that surrounds Crash Team Racing, arguably more so than even the platformers themselves, surprisingly, and I can't wait to talk about that. And there has been a lot of information that has been resurfaced for Crash 1, and since, if you looked at the TCRF page for Crash Bandicoot 1, prior to the 2020s, then after it, it's night and day, because there's a lot more coverage on that game now than there has been before. I will say some other things too. I can't wait for the CTR PCD comp to be finished. I seriously can't wait for that. It started off as a project from developers bored during quarantine to bring the original Crash Team Racing and give it online play. And it turned into a PCD comp because of the love for Crash Team Racing. It's led to prototypes being found and such. Hopefully we'll get more prototypes in the future, because I do love showing the Crash Bandicoot prototypes. It's actually been a hot minute since I've shown any of them. Because my initial plan was to cover this in 2022, but I didn't have practice for this game, and I feel like I'd be holding up if I didn't practice, if I didn't have this game properly practiced beforehand. So, what took that spot for Let's Play number 12? Well, that was the Freedom Planet 2 blind run. And I still have to get to the console versions of that game. I want to show off the boss rush, because that game recently got that. And, and maybe I'll have a chance to show that off at a later point. The other thing was basically, like, if I had covered this as Let's Play number 12, this would have been done on Duck Station, and there's just, certain thing, like, there's just one problem I have, recording off of Duck Station, and that's because of, well, the game window, I can't seem to capture the game window no matter what I try. I had it captured once, then it froze when I hit stop, and then I just can't seem to get it to capture again. If anyone can help me with that, please tell me, but please find a solution that doesn't require me having to switch from OBS to, say, XSplit or Streamlabs. Dang it. I'm trying to show off something I didn't know until this year. So I apologize for the clumsy playing and such. Like, it's something that, like, when I was going for the platinums for this stage and such, basically there's something that you can hit and it gives you Wumpa Fruit, even while you're playing time trials. Like, all the Wumpa Fruit in time trials goes away. Okay, I don't think that was supposed to happen. I went right through the dang thing. So, if in case I can't show it off, at the very least, you know what it looks like because of my bonus, not bonus video, the Platinum Relics video. But yeah. I am probably going to have to resort to emulation for getting footage for the GBA games whenever I get to that. And personally, I'm not sure if I want to use an N-Gage emulator to show off the N-Gage version of Nitro Kart. Because in the past year, N-Gage emulation was finally made possible. People have finally gotten N-Gage emulation running, and as a result, the models, like the 3D models for Crash Bandicoot, Crash Nitro Kart N-Gage version, have been ripped and such, because the game was actually 3D with 2D sprites. So, yeah. I don't think that was supposed to happen. The reason why I'm doing this is because, at the very least, it makes the episode not seem so short compared to the rest of the cast and such. But yeah. Ooh. I'm gonna have to turn that down. So yeah, I don't know when I'll get to the Crash Bandicoot warped prototypes. I'm going to have to make a side note to get to that and such. And maybe I might take this time to play through Crash 2 again. It has been a while since I played that. And I remember having a more positive experience compared to when I first played it on Insane Trilogy. Boy, did I not like playing it on Insane Trilogy. Like, not that Insane Trilogy is bad. It's just got a few rough spots and such. Like the Insane Trilogy is perfectly fine. I will defend Insane Trilogy because it's a great way to play the originals if you haven't played the originals back then. But boy, did I not have a good time with Crash Bandicoot 2. During my first experience, and I forever held it as a bit of a sour spot because I just didn't find it as good as everyone else said it was. And then Crash Bandicoot 4 came out and changed that. But yeah, because we have all the abilities without needing to defeat the bosses first, I'm basically playing through the first world and getting to when we get to the boss, and should you defeat it, even though you've collected the ability. But yeah, I guess while I am here covering all this, sorry for the little pause there. I might as well thank PS1 World UHD for the video showing the fake crash locations. If there are any more that I missed, then please let me know. Now, as for some other credits I must give, I want to thank Plum510 for providing the art assets for this video. He provided the coloring and shading for the title card, the end card, and the borders for this video, or this video series and such. What you're not seeing is what this video series would look like without them. It's just a 4x3 screen with black borders surrounding it and such. So I figured I might as well make things presentable, and it's because I want to thank Darian for helping me out with it, or Plum510. His channel says DarianGofficial. Yeah. Anywho, so let me give thanks once I'm no longer on the run, okay? I want to thank B-Skull X on GameFAQs for listing all the relic times for the US and European versions. Assume the NTSC times applies for the Japanese version as well. And for the routes, like the routes that I had to follow closely, I want to thank the following people for this: Myru 2, Garland the Great, Empty Garbage Can, Carl's 493. The reason for the other people is because I had to look at other videos in case I don't have to take a certain extremely difficult route just to get the platinum. And the reason why I didn't exactly go to Garland the Great for every platinum is simply because Garland the Great is not from the US. He plays off the European versions of the game, which will have different relic times. Some relic times may be easier than others in the European version, but some are definitely harder. The one glitch that happens because of the secret entrances with 2 of the levels is fixed in the European version. Meaning that if you want a platinum in Hot Cocoa, you have to earn it. You have to earn it rather than just having that leg room, thanks to the the flexibility of the US version of the game. And Garland definitely is what you call an expert in Crash Bandicoot. There are many experts out there and such. In fact, some of them have even gone above and beyond in what they can test their skills with. For example, trying to go against the Staff Ghost in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled with just the turning character. And turning characters are always a pain to play because not only are they very slow, but their turning kind of makes everything an issue because of how fast you turn in that game. And boy, I do not envy them for what they had to do to cover the stuff for Crash Bandicoot 4. Now, I'm about to show what happens when you fight a boss with all the abilities. This is probably a failsafe because you will have the option. You'll have the option to fight them once you're done fighting them in their respective warp room. And yeah. And I don't have access. Okay, great way to fight. Yeah, I don't have access to my fruit bazooka. So, yeah. I'm not going to show off everything that happens in the fight and such. And I can't do the... Jeez. Lions. Of course. Have a tiger control the lions. I think the lions are adjacent to where you are. So I guess because I know that now, well... and, well, this boss fight is eons easier than his Crash 2 fight because no bottomless pits. Nope, why do I speak too soon? I'm just trying to show off what happens. Oof. Yeah. I'm a bit nervous because of performance anxiety and such. No! Why am I doing this? Like, I feel I should be better at this boss fight, but I swear, there's just another element that I just end up failing on spectacularly. Like, I shouldn't be sucking at this boss fight. It's the first one. It feels good to do that. I love my superpowered belly flop. Now for him to wait. Pin him! And as you can see, no ability drop, meaning that you can just go straight to, you just basically, ooh, you just basically get out of the boss fight immediately. I assume this would happen because you would also play the boss fights again after completing them and such. So now that we're done dawdling around and reminiscing on things, let's show off the last thing. There is a certain thing that has been introduced with this particular game. So, on the title screen, and I actually have the manual open right now. Input the Konami code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, and square. The Spyro the Dragon demo. Once you're here, you have to restart the game if you want to get back to Crash Bandicoot Warped. This is the first of 3 games to include a demo of another series here. And this is probably going to be the first time you're going to see Spyro on this channel. And I'm not exactly sure if I am going to be able to play through this series at all, because I tried playing Reignited Trilogy. I did not like how it controlled. At all. But yeah, you basically get yourself a demo of the first world. If you've played Spyro the Dragon 1 and input a different code, you would instead get a demo of Crash Bandicoot Warped. And, yeah. The next game we'll look at will instead have a Spyro 2 demo, and vice versa. And the last game to ever do this sort of thing would end up being Crash Bash, as it would have a Spyro 3 demo, and vice versa. Basically, I can't exactly jive with Spyro's controls here. You can easily tell I am not really much of a Spyro fan, and I feel like people are more a fan of the characters than the games themselves or something. Then again, that's probably just me. So I'm not exactly that adverse with the controls. It's been a hot minute since I've actually played the Reignited Trilogy, and I've tried to get into Spyro 2 through the demo that's on Crash Team Racing. Like, you can still play the demos that are on the PlayStation Network releases and such. But if there are any differences between the Crash Bandicoot Warped demo and such, and, well, this game, well, you're gonna have to let me know. I'm not exactly an expert on that field, and as you can tell, I'm probably annoying some of my acquaintances by showing how bad of a job I'm trying to play, Spyro. Like, heck, I can't even jive with the flight controls of this game. So, yeah. So, after all that, until we get to the prototypes, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I want to thank them for their patience waiting for this series to happen. I really enjoyed playing through this game, and I'm glad to have got it done, within a few days. Most other series take me a while to get through it in terms of the recording process. Yes, Cleo. But, yeah. So, even though we're in the land of dragons and such, well, they give us the option to save game, but this is a demo. I don't think there's anything else beyond this. So, next time we meet, we're going to continue a different retrospective involving a pink puffball. But, yeah. I've been Gigalem. If you want to donate, there are a couple links in the description below. Any amount helps. If you want to follow this series and any others, well, it wouldn't hurt to subscribe and hit the bell, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I hope you're taking great care of yourself, and I shall see you with whatever comes next. I shall now bid you adieu.